Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We've got a great show for you this week. Tell you a little bit about what's coming up, and we're going to go live on the radio as well at in about 4 minutes or so. Les, we're going to talk about Mark Royce's big announcement this week that Chevy is going to build an all-electric Silverado, but the gas models are going to stick around. What do you think about that?
That's pretty cool. We know, of course, there's just a huge demand for gas-powered Silverados, especially, and all trucks. So, yeah, you don't want to put all. Well, I'm not even going to use the eggs in a basket cliche, but
You could because it was Easter, just Easter. So
yes, but it's just a little too early to sort of just shut off the switch.
yeah, I would agree, especially when it comes to trucks. And then they
Yeah.
also announced that their Lyric, their electric SUV crossover from Cadillac, is actually going to look like the concept, and that is exciting because I don't know about you, but I hate it when they would show off cool concepts and then you get something watered down when it came
Yeah.
out production. What do you think about that?
Well, especially when they, and we haven't seen this in recent years, but we used to see these concepts at the media days, at the shows, and the concept would have these really neat key elements, none of which would end up in the production car.
Yeah, they would just water it down and
Yeah,
put an
so it was,
applique where some
yeah,
kind of cool
generic.
panel was. Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to talk about Mercedes. They are redesigning the CLS, which is pretty cool. We'll talk about that vehicle. That is kind of a halo vehicle for them, a very slick looking four-door sedan. Les, remember those
Very,
things?
very, very slick. And Hyundai says it's not a truck, okay?
Yeah, we told you about this
Well,
last
it
week.
is a truck.
No, it's an urban adventure vehicle. That's what it is.
It's okay.
It's not a truck.
Well, okay. It's an El Camino.
uh, they were saying it's the closest thing to Australia's Ute. You know, the Utes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But
Good.
which?
That's a good. Yeah,
But I mean, you think about it. The El Camino and is a Ute or was a Ute, right?
yeah. Ranchero, El Camino.
Yeah. There was never a Chrysler version, was there?
I don't think there was. I sure wouldn't remember it if there was.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to have a great guest on, Lee Newcombe, who is a Ford Explorer marketing manager. They came out with something called the Enthusiast ST this week.
Hmm.
I'll show you a picture of that. The Enthusiast ST, 400 horsepower, and it's going to be less expensive than the ST, which is their performance version, which has the same horsepower. So you're also going to be able to get a platinum hybrid. We'll talk about what's going on with the Explorer. And matter of fact, I would assume the Explorer has the same hybrid system that the F-150 does. I'm driving the
I'm
F-150
sure it does.
hybrid
Yeah.
this week, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, you're enjoying that. You've already been bragging about it during the week with me.
yeah, I got 30 miles to the
But
gallon
but
on
do
it.
you invite me in it? No.
Well, you can come up. You can come up to New York. You're always welcome.
Well, okay. Details. Yeah,
But it does get 30 miles to the gallon, which is crazy. So
that's incredible. It's a
full size
truck.
pickup truck.
Yeah.
So we'll
Mm.
have a full at the wheel review of that coming up in future weeks. But for this week, we're going to stick with the Explorer and talk about that. Who is coming in on the radio show?
Oh heck, I'll come in.
All right, I'm going to put you online. Here you go, Les Jackson.
Here we go.
Here we go.
This is Cruise Control.
Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on
Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, everybody, to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We are belted in. We are cinched tight because we're going to get on that accelerator and do some serious moving this week. Probably, well, mostly legally, but you never know. Nonetheless, we have an awful lot to talk about from the industry, and we also have some guests this week. So, Fred, what do you think?
Well, Les, we've got a lot to get to. You're right. Absolutely. The Chevy Silverado is going electric. Mark Royce from GM announced it this week. We'll talk about that, but don't get it twisted. Gas models are not disappearing right away.
That is true. And of course, Silverado is going electric. Gee whiz, Ford went electric with the F-150. Anyway, what's going to happen over at Ram? From concept to consumer, GM says its Lyriq will look the same as the prototype. In other words, when we see these being launched as a concept vehicle, your rule is still in effect, Fred. If it has door handles and side mirrors, they're going to make it.
Yeah, I agree, and it's exciting to see this Lyriq, which has a huge digital dash that reaches from A-pillar to A-pillar, and some really, really slick lighting details in the front. All that's going to make it into production. Excited about that. And Mercedes redesigns its CLS sedan, one slick-looking four-door, isn't it?
It is really slick. It almost makes me wonder, how much do I have to lean over to get in the back door? But
it's like chopped. It's like chopped
it,
down.
it looks low. Maybe it really isn't that low, but we'll talk about it. Over at Hyundai, they're saying, especially to me, hey, it's not a truck. Okay? You got that? It's not a truck.
Yeah, they're calling it an urban adventure vehicle, the Santa Cruz. We talked about that a little bit last week. Drips and drips and drips are coming out of information about that, so we'll talk about that. And Ford adds more premium models to its Explorer lineup, including the Enthusiast ST with 400 horsepower, less expensive than the ST, and the Platinum Hybrid. So there's a lot going on with the Ford Explorer. We wanted to know more about it. So Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager, will join us on Cruise Control in a little bit. Exciting stuff. A 400 horsepower Enthusiast ST. It sounds good to me, Les.
It sounds an awful lot like SUVs are becoming hot rods.
Yeah, it sure does. Well,
just like cars.
All that and more on Cruise Control when we get back. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We will see you real soon, so keep it buckled because plenty more is coming up. We're just getting started.
That's right.
Okay, I'm excited.
Well, I do like the idea of, remember, it was, gosh, it must have been 15, 16 years ago that you and I first were invited by Chrysler to drive. They had hopped up a Dodge Durango with about a 400 horsepower engine and put it on the track, and they said, hey, go to it. And we really enjoyed it. And we really loved the power, of course, but we also loved the hard, solid shifting of the automatic.
Yeah, it shifted like a prepped transmission for a drag car.
Like the old torque flights of the 60s. You knew when it was going into the next gear. It was kind of a bang.
You know the crazy thing about that, the torque flights, they use them behind nitro-powered engines for a while
Is that?
in the drag racing world, and the things, you know, they
Yeah.
lived for a while behind those engines. Now, of course, they don't use any transmission at all. It's just a lock-up clutch, basically. It slowly locks up with fingers
Yeah.
coming in
Right.
until it's 1-to-1 at the top of the track. But yeah, they used to use torque flights in funny cars and things like that. The 727 torque flight, bulletproof
It
transmission.
was considered the best engineered automatic in the industry. The taxi fleets use them. The police use them because they just didn't break.
Yeah, you could rev up that 440 and just slam it into gear
Yeah.
and take off. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. I was watching Graveyard Cars last night, and the guy Mark Warman went to a kind of this small salvage yard, and there was a 440 or a 318 in a big old Chrysler, and they were going to do it up as a tribute car, police tribute car. You know, make it look like a police car, which was pretty interesting. They were
That
talking about.
that's an interesting show because Warman is I think eccentric is a
He would
word,
say that himself, I think.
but they just do impeccable work.
Yeah.
Just perfect.
I mean, they literally make it like the factory, but better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, we're going to be coming in to cruise control in just a little bit on our live radio show, but you're with us on YouTube and Facebook Live. We appreciate you being there. Put something in the comments if you want to make a comment about the show, something you want to see. I'll bring us in, Les Jackson.
Okay.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We are glad you're with us. We're going to jump right into our stories this week, Les, and it involves GM's Factory Zero plant.
Yes.
I have to say, I find it a little strange that all this talk about zero. You know, I just think of the Elvis Costello song, Everything Less Than Zero. Everything is less than zero.
That's right. Also, zero used to when you called a person zero, you know that was a pejorative comment.
Yeah, but now
Um,
now it means zero emissions, I guess.
Zero emissions, zero impact.
Zero impact.
yeah.
You never want to be talked that way, though. Well, there's Les. He made zero impact.
That's right. Well, that's many women I dated would have told you that.
Well, they are calling it Factory Zero. It's an assembly plant in Detroit and Hamtramck, Michigan. A lot of people have a hard time saying Hamtramck, don't they?
That's right. Well, you kind of want to just say two syllables, Hamtramck,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's Hamtramck.
yeah. Well, they're going to build the Chevy Silverado electric full-size pickup. Mark Royce from GM announced this week. And it will be designed from the ground up to be an EV, harnessing the best of the Ultium platform and Silverado's proven capability. They estimate the range will be 400 miles on a full charge, and they look to start building this very soon. Will it be built specifically as an electric vehicle, or are they going to modify the current model? I don't know. He says it's going to be built specifically for it, which is interesting. Now,
I think it's going to be either or.
yeah, okay. And then, of course, in order to avoid people being shocked, notice what I did there?
Yes, I did.
There was an announcement by a GM spokeswoman who said, "Oh, don't worry, we are still building and going to build gas-powered Silverados. And matter of fact, we are making significant updates in terms of design and capability, and they will be rolling out very soon. There's going to be a fairly extensive facelift for the 2022 Silverado 1500, so that they were not going to do away with the gas engines anytime soon. Uh, it, what do you think the towing capability will be of these electric? Um,
Well, um, it's going to be an awful lot because, of course, you have all the torque possible as soon as you turn the motor on,
mm-hmm.
which means way, way beyond what the gas engine would do until it revs up. So I think the towing capacity, will it be double? No. But I bet it goes up 25, 30, 40%.
Wow, that's a big prediction. The other thing that
Well, you know,
you're not, it's just going to be like a gas powered vehicle, though. When you tow, if you're, for example, I'm driving the F 150 hybrid right now. I got 30 miles to the gallon bobtailing, right? But
right.
if I was to put a car on a trailer and tow it behind that, it would not get that. It would tow it because it can tow
It would
12,000
tow it
pounds.
fine, but you'd be using up a lot of electricity.
Yeah, yes, you would be using up a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
But
So your range, if you were just running pure electric towing something, your range would have to be cut in half.
yeah, yeah. Well, we will keep you up to date on both the upcoming 2022 Chevy Silverado and the electric Silverado as we get more details in. Interesting news in about this vehicle. This is the Lyric. You can see some pictures of it on our Facebook page. The Cadillac Lyric, which had a big reveal not that long ago, is their all-electric premium crossover. And,
Yep.
it has some slick features. It has lights across the front of the vehicle, very sophisticated lighting across the front of the vehicle. It has a dashboard that kind of spans the full width of the vehicle, A pillar to A pillar. And sometimes things like this kind of get watered down in the transition, don't they? And
Well, they do.
but this one not so much. We'll talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control Radio. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. When we come back, we'll tell you why you're going to see all those features in the Cadillac Lyric when it comes out. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back. All right. Yeah, we will talk about the Lyric, and we'll get that ready to go. Plenty to go on Cruise Control Radio.
That's
What
right. Much to do.
what can you I'll put you on the spot here. Do you remember a concept that looked really cool, and then when it came out, you're like, well, that's really not what they showed.
Uh,
I I mean,
well,
I know they used to do a lot of crazy concepts at the car shows,
yeah.
but they don't do those anymore because they're just a waste of money.
No, that's right. Because those were things they were never going to make.
Right.
But Mazda actually in about 2004 showed sort of a concept which ultimately I think became the Mazda 3, but it was rather futuristic looking, and nothing in production came out looking like that.
I think what's happened is the internet has changed things. So when a picture comes out of something, or even a rendering, because a lot of people like to render vehicles, it people think that's it. Oh, it's done. There it is, and
Yeah.
it's just somebody that's gone to work and done a nice piece of art.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is some of these things look great when they do a rendering, but the production people say, well, we can't inexpensively make that shape.
Hmm.
It'll require whatever it requires, extra stamping devices and so on.
Right.
It just becomes not cost effective to do it. So they have to come up with something practical.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Another weird thing. Do you know people are still posting April Fool's stories that were on things like Autoblog or
Yep.
Carbuzz? They're still
Yep.
posting it. I saw the C9 Corvette goes back to front engine rear drive.
I didn't see that one.
Someone posted and said, "This is really interesting. Obviously, it's a big deal that they're going to make it go back to front engine and rear drive." And it was just a story by they just ran with it. And I guess probably a year from now they'll because once you put it on the internet, it's on the internet.
That's right. Somehow it comes back. You see it all the time on Facebook. Some posting, 2 months ago shows up again because somebody said, "Hey, did you see this?"
Mm. Hey, Les, why don't you bring us back in?
All
We're
right.
coming in 5, and we're going to talk
Back
about
to
the
the
lyric.
Cruise control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We are Les and Fred. I'm one of them. Before the break, we were talking about the new lyric, which we're showing an actual video of it on our Facebook page. I just want to say, I think it's a slick-looking vehicle, but I'm not that thrilled with the front, Fred. I know you like those lights, but to me, it just looks a little bit Star Wars-ish.
They call it the Black Crystal Grill, Les. It's almost like it doesn't need a grill, but they made one out of lighting effects. That's
Yeah. It's just, it just doesn't. I don't find it bad looking. It just doesn't appeal to me.
okay. You would be even okay if it was just a striped area, as a striped sort of
Yeah,
semi
just a
grill.
just a big logo or something like that. That'd be fine.
You know me. I still think electric cars need a grill because it looks like somebody without a mouth.
I fully agree. A grill is the personality of the car.
Yeah. And I know it may no longer be needed, but now it can be a styling element and they can have fun with this. Well, what we're talking about here is the fact that the Cadillac Lyric, we've seen the prototype, and now they're saying this will be the production vehicle. The only difference will be the side mirrors because the original prototype had the camera mirrors.
Yep, can't do that yet.
Can't do that yet. I think that will be coming, though, because let's face it, for electric range and wind noise and things like that, they would be great. I don't know when we will see that. Any predictions when we will see the side view mirror go away and be replaced by a camera?
My friends at NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, are in fact working on trying to come up with a proposed regulation. They're working with the car companies, of course, to incorporate as much as possible. So, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty quick. I mean, we've been talking about this and hearing about that type of technology for a long time, and I think it's good to finally see it because let's face it, those big ears hanging out in the wind really cut down your mileage, don't they?
Yeah, but the biggest stumbling block with the video mirrors is keeping them clean in all weather.
So you need some kind of sprayer or something like that.
Well, yeah, unless you mount it inside, but then if you do, you gain a larger blind spot. So it's got to be kind of outside. So how do you shield it?
Yeah, interesting. Well, let's move on to our next story, and it involves the Mercedes CLS getting a redesign. The Mercedes CLS is a very slick-looking four-door sedan, long hood. It's got some cool strakes in the hood to show off its looks, and it is really almost looks like a chop-top hot rod, doesn't it?
It does. Everybody seems to be going the Aston Martin route on,
they
which, by the way, I have no problem with.
no,
Um,
Aston Martins are great looking cars. They really
yeah,
stand out.
but this is a kind of a bold look in a way for Mercedes.
But you know what? They call it a coupe, and that really annoys me. They call that a coupe because it's got a swoopy style. But if it's got four doors, to me, it's not a coupe.
Yeah, it's
That's
a it's a sedan oop.
it's a slick
I don't have
sedan.
a word for it,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Well, it's going to get an even sportier look, and it will get more aggressive. 5 twin spoke or multi spoke rims, 2 new colors, a new radiator grille with Mercedes pattern, a 3-dimensional star pattern with chrome gloss finishes. I don't think it lights up, but they, because a lot of their cars have a lit logo, but it doesn't do that. It's going to have open pore brown walnut and high gloss gray wood. Very trendy, Les Jackson. I'm sure that's found in your living room.
Of course.
Yeah, and it will get a redesigned multifunction steering wheel. We talked a lot about Mercedes steering wheels, that they're really trying to make that a center for technology. And then there's something that allows you, I'm going to use a word you hate. Here it comes, to build
Uh-oh.
a bespoke version of this vehicle. Bespoke.
That keeps getting more painful.
You like that word, don't you?
No, I don't.
Manufactor.
Custom made. By
Yeah.
the way, technologically, this is going to have an electric air conditioner compressor.
Now that's interesting. Is that a first?
It's about time. I've been thinking about that for many years.
So no belt. No belt.
No belt.
Yeah. And probably easier to package, easier to put
Sure.
under the hood. Probably smaller, wouldn't you say, than a big
Sure.
compressor?
Well, think about your window air conditioner.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little electric compressor.
Yeah. So sounds like a good idea. I think we will see that trickle down. It's got a second generation starter generator and a 48-volt electrical system with an output of up to 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of electric boost. And there is energy recovery and the possibility of glide with the engine switched off. So it's basically a mild hybrid, isn't it?
Right. Right. With enormous amounts of technology.
Mm-hmm. And
as of course Mercedes is known for.
yeah, and then it has the M-Bucks, which is their infotainment system, which has the ability to learn thanks to artificial intelligence with predictive functions, and it can anticipate what the user would like next. For instance, anyone who telephones a specific person on Tuesdays during their drive will receive their telephone number as a suggestion in the display. We're going to see more of this. Now, it could be good in the case of navigation. I think I told you this before. When I drive a certain route, I don't want to go over a certain bridge. Happens to be the George Washington Bridge, because it has like 25 lanes merging down to 8, and
That's right.
Always a
And
nightmare. I'd rather go out of the way
yeah.
10 minutes because it's clean and I go over another bridge, and that's what I like. Now, if
Is there another bridge handy?
yeah, relatively handy. And so if I if I do this all the time, I would like my navigation system to say, "Hey, I know this route's shorter, but I know you like to go the other way, so we'll go the way we always go,
Yeah.
right?"
Well, yeah, that's right. I would agree. Take me the way I want to go.
Where does it stop, though? It might get super friendly, like, "Hey, you've had 2 cups of coffee today, and I know you normally stop for Starbucks at
That's
this
right.
time, but I think you really should wait because you don't want to over-caffeinate." What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to say, listen, really, you don't need that donut. You've been You've been gaining a little weight in the past couple of weeks. And also, you really need to wash the front deck of the house. Yeah.
It gives you a honey-do list.
It's called the nag feature.
The nag feature. Well, who knows if that will be part of the new Mercedes CLS. We do know, though, that there's a lot going on at Ford when it comes to the Explorer. And when we come back, Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager, will join us and tell us a little bit about some cool new versions of the Explorer, including this Enthusiast ST, 400 horsepower less. It's quite the hot rod. I think that sounds good. It's actually going to come in at a lower price than the current ST. So we'll pick Lee's brain on that and get some up-to-date info on that when we come back on Cruise Control. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Got a lot of information up there on Facebook, a lot of pictures and videos of vehicles we're talking about. So head on over there and throw us a like while you're there. And we will be right back with more Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We'll see you right after the break. All right, let's bring on Lee.
Yes.
Lee is coming in to the party. And let's see. Let's see.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Lee.
Morning.
Let me get my. There we go.
There you are. Hello,
There
Lee.
he is.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. And can you just bring your audio down just a little bit?
Okay, I was just going to say, it was coming in a little hot.
You're coming in.
Fine. Okay. How's that? Any better?
Oh, that's good here.
Yeah. You are live right now on Facebook Live and YouTube, and we're going to be getting back into the radio show in just a couple of minutes here. So
yeah, I like your hair, Lee.
Oh, thank you, Fred. Or Les, sorry.
Yeah. Nah, I'm going that way too, guys. Maybe I'll go that style eventually, But looks good. Well, we appreciate you being with us, Lee, and it's exciting. We're looking forward to the Enthusiast ST. There it is. We're going to talk about that when we come back in after the break in about 30 seconds or so. But 400 horsepower, really cool. Looks great. And I think it's going to be a really good deal for folks that are interested in an Explorer.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me, and good morning this Saturday. We are excited to introduce this new entry-level ST. It's, we're really focused on distilling down to what the pure essence.
Here we go.
Pure essence of. Okay.
Here we go, and I'm going to bring us in. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Hello, everyone. I'm Fred Staub. Les Jackson is with us, and we've been joined by Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager. Lee, welcome to Cruise Control Radio. How are you?
Thank you, guys. Good morning. How are you?
All right. Well,
that's great. We don't think we're having as much fun driving this week as you probably are.
Yeah,
not envious or anything. Just commenting.
Well, we should just jump right into it. Explorer, Lee, is such an important brand, such an important vehicle for Ford. And tell us a little bit about what's going on for the 2021 model year.
Yeah, we had a great announcement this past week. We announced a new entry-level ST. So it's called the Enthusiast ST. We really focused on power, performance, and looks. And the Enthusiast ST delivers on all those fronts for a starting price of just a little bit over $48,000. So you get a 400 horsepower engine, dynamite looks, great interior seats with Myco suede inserts, and Copilot 360 assist. So great product. Four-wheel drive also standard.
Now,
so it's basically fully equipped as it comes out of the box. So you've got an awful lot for the money.
Right, Les. That's what we were focused on. Tons of content, but a little bit more affordable price for those people that want to jump into an ST.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How does it differ between the ST, and how much more would you have to spend on an ST versus the Enthusiast ST?
Yeah, so it's about a $5,000 walk to what we'll call the fully loaded ST. A fully loaded ST comes with the standard street package, Copilot 360 Assist Plus, some other treatments. But for those that just want the real pure driving performance and looks that ST delivers, Enthusiast ST is really where you want to be.
Okay, well, let's just why. What kind of performance were you looking for, and what have the buyers been telling you? You know, well, are they saying we want 600 horsepower and you settled on 400, or are they just
I'll
saying,
settle for 400? That's pretty
yeah,
good.
that's right. I mean, what made you go to this package, other than the fact that you personally wanted it, and I don't blame you for it.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
Well, that always is it makes it more fun to chase it when it's something you want.
Exactly.
But Les, we never get any complaints about horsepower. I'll tell you that right now. No one ever says, "Boy, I wish you would have delivered 600." 400's plenty in that vehicle. So it's been just a really great opportunity for us. We got a lot of customers moving out of cars into SUVs, and they want something that still provides that fun to drive element, and the ST really delivers on that front. Because you can still, 400 horsepower, rear-wheel drive bias, good front-to-rear balancing on it, but still then the versatility and capability the SUV provides. So it's really the best of both worlds for those customers.
We are talking to Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager, about this Enthusiast ST, and I'd have to say that is just a great-looking vehicle. What size wheels does that have, Lee?
Those come with a standard 20-inch wheel, but you can upgrade to the ST Street Pack, which brings 21-inch all-black wheels, red calipers, and improved brake pads.
And how are you building that 400 horsepower? What is it, the 3.5 EcoBoost?
It's a 3-liter EcoBoost twin turbo.
Okay.
Yeah. 10-speed transmission, and then you get seven selectable drive modes with that as well. So, you're set up for all kinds of conditions.
And is it all-wheel drive?
It is all-wheel drive. That's right.
That's the cool thing there. I mean, it's not only 400 horsepower, but you're putting it down to all wheels.
Right.
Yeah, great on the dry or the wet. How many people are taking these seriously off-road? I don't mean the people just driving on the beach, but people that are going out trekking a little further into the wilderness. Are there a lot of those people, or are most people just very happy to beat their friends at the stoplight Grand Prix?
When we do our, especially in COVID times, I think we've seen people stretch into the off-road even more than they did before. Explorer has one of the highest rates of customers taking their vehicles off-road on a fairly regular basis. Of course, off-road means different things to different people. But pretty good portion of Explorer customers adventure out into the wilderness with their Explorers.
Yeah, very good. We are speaking with Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager. And, part of your job is figuring out what people want. Les kind of alluded to it a little bit about, horsepower and things like that. What else are they asking for in the Explorer, and how do you give it to them?
Technology is a big why buy for all of our customers. And with Explorer, the Copilot 360 Assist Plus system, delivers your lane centering, your intelligent adaptive cruise control, your traffic jam assist, where it'll take your car to a full stop or accelerate through to your cruising speed, speed sign recognition. So if you're going to get, helps you not get caught in speed traps when you're in cruise control, and then when that speed limit drops to 55 and you're set at 65, it'll drop you accordingly.
Wow.
So those, yeah.
That's important.
Right.
That's a money saver there. That's
right.
Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're always trying to build out more technology into our vehicles, and Explorer's taken a huge leap forward in that front, and we're very proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, there's something else to talk about, some more news this week, and it involves a couple of more choices, and both of them come on the Platinum trim level of the Ford Explorer.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. So yeah, in the Platinum, that's our highest series. That's the Ultimate Explorer. It's all about luxury and tech. And so what we brought to it this time is our 3.3-liter hybrid engine is now an option. So if you were looking for a hybrid application in your Platinum, you now have that ability. It comes standard with a 4x4 drivetrain. And then also, if you live in a southern market and you don't ever see snow or horribly inclement weather, we now offer the 3-liter EcoBoost in a rear-wheel drive only. That Platinum's always been standard 4-wheel drive, and you can now get that in 2-wheel drive.
Now, perfect question for a marketing guy. Yes, Les and I both live more northern in the country, and to us, the idea of a 2-wheel drive SUV is like, wow, that when you go to resell it, people are going to say, where's the all? They just expect it. I mean, people want all-wheel. I talk to neighbors. They're like, does it have all-wheel drive? Everything is like, does it have all-wheel drive? But we kind of forget that our friends that live more in Texas, Florida, places like that, really wouldn't have need for all-wheel drive unless they're going off-road or something like that.
Right, and that we have a great customer base, and our customers are always giving us feedback, and that's exactly the kind of feedback we were getting. And so we said, you know what, you're right. We should definitely offer that to our customers. It creates a little bit lower price point to get into a Platinum. And we have tons of things like roll stability control, traction control. We still have 6 selectable drive modes that are all applicable and a rear-wheel drive. And that vehicle is intelligent enough to handle a lot of conditions.
Is the 2-wheel drive a different load capacity than the 4-wheel drive?
If you're talking about towing,
or towing, yeah.
Yeah, no, 5,600 pounds on the 3-liter EcoBoost, so plenty of towing capacity with both the 4-wheel and the 2-wheel drive derivatives. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And I'll put you on the spot here, Lee. We're talking to Lee Newcombe, who is the Ford Explorer marketing manager. How many different trim levels can you get in the Ford Explorer? Seems like there's a lot of choice.
There is a lot of choice, and we're working hard to bring even more to the future. But I think we're at now with the Base, XLT, Limited, ST, Platinum, King Ranch. So we're up to 6.
And
wow. Wow.
And the Police Interceptor too, which is another one.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
I saw one of those this week.
Up close and personal, Les?
No, he wasn't. He went by.
Did you get to see the inside of it, Les?
I'm not looking forward to something like that, but one never knows.
Let me give you a tour of the inside of this. Maybe you want to get some pictures for your show.
In, let me show you the back seat here.
Look at how much legroom it has. Yeah.
That's right.
So
so that your hands don't flail around, we put cuffs on you.
Yeah, just sort of keep everything in place. Yeah. Well, Lee, we want you to stick with us because we're going to talk more about the Ford Explorer. I want to talk more about, when we come back, the hybrid system. I'm in the F-150 hybrid truck this week as my press vehicle, and I'm really amazed with the mileage on that big truck. So we'll get into the hybrid system on the Ford Explorer when we come back with Lee. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. We are going to be right back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Stay tuned. Don't forget to head over to cruisecontrolradio.com and like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We will be right back.
It's Thursday.
So, Lee, how do you guys reach out to people when you're, thinking about adding a new feature to the Explorer, or you're thinking about, when it comes to, let's say, a new model, like what they want to see? I mean, what is that process like? I think a lot of people wonder about that. Like, how does it happen? I mean, it's not just a couple of folks sitting around a table and they say, hey, you know what? I think we ought to make a model with, open pore gray wood on the on the dashboard. I mean, there's a lot to it. Marketing is a science.
Yeah, we have a lot of different touch points with our customers. In advance of a new model, even after we launch a new model, we get back with our customers and have clinics with them to understand what they've done to their vehicles, what they want in their vehicles. So we really distill that information down to try and drive some of our product plans. We look across the industry, what other people are doing in other segments, where there's opportunity based on our buying behaviors. And, that's really what kind of has driven the product intros that we're talking about today, and even some more in the future. So one thing at Ford, we talk to our customers a ton.
And do you really see any end to people wanting crossovers? I mean, that seems to be an enduring trend. I don't know what year it started, and maybe you would know from your marketing background, but it seems like there's no sign of it fading away anytime soon.
Well, we introduced the Explorer in 1991 model year, so we're in our 30th year of production on that. That's really what kind of kicked off the industry. If you think through the 90s to the early 2000s, that's when it almost peaked. Then we went into that bit of trough when the gas crunch hit in the late 2000s. And then we came out of that kind of in 13 or 14, and it's been just on fire. And that's when we've really, cars are less than 20% of the industry right now. So people have gone into full SUV mode.
Well, plus so many people that I meet or groups that I speak in front of, they just say, well, I bought an SUV because I couldn't see around all the other SUVs when I had my car. And they all end up liking them because they're roomy, they're comfortable, they feel safer, and all that stuff. The one thing that people comment a lot is they don't get the color choices that they used to get with sedans.
Interesting.
Now, they're probably talking about the colors themselves, but once I've heard that a number of times, I notice the trends, and I do notice that on the SUVs, the colors tend to be a little bolder.
Huh.
So how do you decide on the colors?
We have a color material trim organization that really works with kind of our futuring team to figure out what's going to be popular 2, 3, 4 years from now. I will tell you from my experience that kind of the core colors is where most of our business is. Black is, of course, wildly popular,
right.
The most popular. White, silver. We have, I think, 9 colors on Explorer right now. I think a pretty good palette on Explorer. However, Les, I would say, when I do look at some OEMs, I'd say their palettes are a little muted, right?
Yeah.
Different versions of gray and tans. And
I'm going to interrupt Lee just because I'm going to bring us back in. Here we go.
Yeah.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. And along with us is Lee Newcombe, who's the Ford Explorer Marketing Manager. We were talking about the Enthusiast ST model and the fact that now you can get the Platinum with rear drive and the hybrid model. Lee, I tell you, I'm in this new F-150 hybrid as my press vehicle this week. And just as a sign that your marketing is working, my next-door neighbor came over and said, that's the most popular selling vehicle for the past 40 years. I was like, wow, do you work for Ford? I was like, yes, I know. But, it must mean the message is getting through there, Lee.
Everyone loves F-150s. It has been the most popular vehicle in America for a long time running, and well-deserved. So glad your neighbor's all over it. That's fantastic.
And there's some carpenters in the area. Apparently, my neighbor said when they get here at 7 in the morning, there's a group of 6 carpenters walking around the vehicle and looking in the windows and that. So he said, I just thought I'd tell you that because you probably weren't awake yet or didn't see them. But I said, I'm surprised they didn't load the tools into the bed and take off in it,
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little more about the hybrid Ford Explorer. I think a lot of people may not know that there is a hybrid available. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so when we launched our all new in 20, we launched a hybrid exclusively on our limited series. And it comes in a standard, unlimited. It's a 4x4 application, made it to a 10-speed transmission, almost 500 miles on a tank of gas. And I'll tell you, when you drive it, if you didn't have the hybrid badge on it, you would never know it's a hybrid. The transition between the ICE engine and the battery is virtually seamless. It gives you more power, 318 pound-feet of torque. So we really wanted to expand that offering up into our Platinum series because we think it's a great fit for our Platinum customers that really love technology.
Hybrids make a lot of sense. I mean, you get great efficiency. You obviously get better fuel mileage. I'm testing a hybrid Lexus this week, and it's SUV, of course. And it's a great way to go, and I think in the long run it's worth the extra money because these things tend to be very robust.
Yeah, I agree with you, Les. We were one of the first to bring hybrids to the SUV market when we launched it on our Escape in, I think, 2009. And we've kind of been refining that capacity and that capability ever since. You get a little bit of added boost of power, and you get better fuel economy. And I think it's a great way as we transition more and more to battery electrics in the industry. I think this is a great transition tool for people to get more and more comfortable with battery technology and what it can provide.
Do you think, like I know on the F-150, it's very small badging, and as you said, if you didn't know you were in the hybrid model, from a marketing sense, in the old days, you used to have a completely different looking vehicle to make it a hybrid. Now it just kind of blends in. So how do you make people aware of the hybrid and say, hey, you know what? You have this option to have a Ford Explorer with all the storage and all the capability, but you can get much better fuel economy.
Yeah, it's funny. Our engineers have done such a great job of designing the product. You don't even know it's a hybrid. I mean, you have, it's not like the battery is bulging out into your second row seating. The drive transition is super smooth. So we badge it just enough, I think, for those customers that want that differentiation. And of course, we have probably the best dealer body in the entire United States. Our dealers are so in touch with our products and our customers that they really, really do a great job promoting hybrid technology to our customers.
We know that a bunch of police departments are using Explorers. Are they using hybrids to an extent?
Oh, for sure. And you think about it, Les. You never, when you drive by a cop car or even see one in a gas station, what's it doing? It's always running, right?
Always.
Because they have so much equipment, they cannot power it with just a normal starter battery. With the hybrid solution, guess what? You don't have to run your engine. You can just run off that battery power, and it provides a tremendous fuel savings to the local municipalities for those cars. It's in the thousands of dollars annually in terms of fuel save.
Wow.
So that will run lights, radios, all the other stuff they have to run off the battery while they're stopped, because like you said, Lee, most of the time, what do? They're idling. They say they go from idling for 3 hours to 100 miles an hour, basically.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Which would qualify as severe duty, I would say.
Yes. And we have a great relationship with municipalities all over the United States. And the Explorer Interceptor is one of the best-selling police vehicles in the country. And so that's, we worked with them closely designing the all-new Police Interceptor, and it's paid off quite well for them.
And I'm sure you guys are going to gather data on durability, because that's a lot, as I said, severe duty. By the way, I think Ford Escape hybrids are there's still some of them running around as cabs in New York City.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they must have 500,000 miles on them.
They
by
probably do, yeah. I think they would be well worn by this point. Probably time for a Ford Explorer hybrid cab. I don't think you make a taxi cab version of that, but it certainly would hold up to the problems of New York City roads, I'm sure.
I like that idea, Fred. That's a good one.
That you can use that marketing idea there, Lee.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
We were talking with Lee Newcombe, who is Ford Explorer marketing manager. These two models, how did they come out? I mean, you just kind of decided there more people wanted to get into an ST, and if it was 5,000 less, it might open it up to more people. I mean, do you work on that number? Do you say, hey, what would get you into a ST, and if they said it was 5,000 less, you kind of work it that way from a content standpoint, I guess?
A little bit. We look at where kind of our old sport model was in terms of price point. So we got a lot of those customers coming out of 2 and 3 year leases that are now maybe looking to get into an ST. So the Enthusiast makes it even more approachable for them. We work with customers all the time, and they're always telling us, hey, we'd like more versions of the ST. So that's another way we come about this. Of course, the southern states with the rear wheel drive, Platinum, and then the hybrid technology, people are always looking for more battery electric power. So we have a great relationship with our customers, and they help drive our business quite a bit.
Are the dealers looking for anything more that you're not offering? It'd be hard to believe they are, but you never know. Dealers probably want it other than free.
No one knows the customers better than our dealers in the market.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and we work with them real closely. We have a kind of a constant feedback loop with them. So yes, they definitely have some ideas on where we want to take Explorer, and we're in violent agreement with them.
Violent agreement, did you say?
That's right. There's more places we can take it. We're excited to take it there, and I hope in the next month and a half, maybe we can get back together again and talk about some more news on Explorer.
Well, okay, that sounds like a deal. That sounds very interesting. Violent agreement.
Keep going, Fred. We can probably get him to tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, like save some time, Lee. I mean, it's only a couple of months away. Make an announcement. We won't tell anyone.
It's just us three.
Yeah,
just the three of us.
Yeah, just hanging out, talking.
And the
vehicles.
rest of the country, but don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, they'll just sit quietly and not say anything. I like when you laugh, your camera goes up.
We always try. We always try.
Yeah. Well, a violent agreement. I guess that's a good thing. Yeah. It must be a marketing term, Lee.
They know their business, and man, sometimes when it aligns with our thoughts, it's very exciting. And then we've got some great news coming that's really going to take Explorer in a different direction.
Well, Lee,
we're excited about that.
We're rapidly running out of time. Lee Newcombe, Ford Explorer Marketing Manager. They want more information on these Ford models. Where would they go?
Ford.com or your local dealer. You can order one right now.
All right.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much, Lee. We appreciate you being on Cruise Control. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.
Bye.
Well, Lee, we'll have to have you back because it sounds like you got some new information. So we'll keep you in the mix, and I'll let them know that you'd like to come back on. That would be a lot of fun.
Hey guys, I'd love to come back. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate the time with you today. That was great.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We always like people who are enthusiastic about their products and knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it doesn't happen that way, and it can be a long 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But when you're into it like you are, it goes quickly. So.
Oh yeah.
So
we didn't have enough time to cover everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is.
Whenever you want, guys.
Well,
perfect.
We'll have you back on in what time? When was that announcement again?
When would that stuff be coming out?
I like the month of May. May's the
month of
May. Okay, something happening.
Exciting month in May.
With Explorer in the month of May. That's what we got. That's our takeaway. Okay, thank you very much, Lee. We appreciate it. All right.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.
All right, you too.
Bye now.
Yeah, good stuff, Les. It's great to get insight as to how companies look at what people want, because I think a lot of consumers probably think it's like a monolithic company. It's like we put this out and you buy it, but that's not it. They do.
I wonder if people like Lee, product managers, go to dealerships and just spend the day watching.
Yeah. Well, think about this. Like, if you want to know what people want in their vehicle, you could take the current vehicle and just look at someone's vehicle. If they have all kinds of mounts for their phones and add-on
yeah,
cup
actually,
holders
good
and
point.
things like that, well, you say like, hey, you know what? We could like make a really nice one from the factory, as opposed to this peel and stick kind of stuff, and it would look great. And I'll tell you one thing that's amazingly improved on this F-150, the Sync 4 system, because I've used wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it works great with Sync 4. The XM Sirius XM subscription had timed out, as happens sometimes with our press vehicles, and I thought, well, what am I going to listen to? Well, I brought up Android Auto and some audio apps, and it sounds beautiful, and it's all wireless. You don't need. It's not like you get in there and you go, oh no, I forgot my cable, so now I can't listen to anything. So
Yeah.
nice job on the Sync 4 system. So really, really good step. I have not been in, and I should have complained to Lee, I have not been in the new Ford Explorer. It's not been in the fleet at all to drive.
I haven't been in an Explorer in probably 6 years.
Yeah, I asked about it, and I'll ask again,
Yeah, I
especially
guess
about the hybrid model. I'd like to get into it.
maybe Ford is just doesn't put them in the fleets because they're such a
Because they need to sell them. They need to sell everyone.
they need to sell they can't make enough.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we should have asked him, too, about they have a King Ranch version of the I'm driving the King Ranch version of the F-150, the King Ranch F-150 hybrid, and so it's interesting. I talk about hybrids and how they used to put hybrid on it and all that. They don't. This says Power Boost on it, which could be anything. Power Boost could be a supercharger. Power Boost could be a turbocharger.
yeah.
So they don't call that out anymore, and it's not like it has to be a separate car that looks like a hybrid. So it's kind of interesting. You wouldn't really know that it was a hybrid if you didn't really research it. But anyway, there you have it. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk about Lexus announcing its Teammate Advanced Drive system, and also taking on distracted driving. If you go over to our Facebook page, they did a kind of a fun example. I don't know. I guess you could call it fun, but it is they rigged up a Lexus crossover, and they told people to just, you're going to drive around the cones, sort of like we're just testing out this new vehicle. You're going to drive around the cones in a parking lot like autocross, and we'll see how you do. And then they had put this film on the inside of the windows that goes translucent at a flip of a switch.
Oh.
I like that. I would like that on Windows, frankly. I'd like that on my Windows at home. I could just power it up.
Nice.
Yeah. And then they see what happens, and they only leave it up for 4.6 seconds, which is the average time that it takes someone to text. And what happens? Well, they end up driving through obstacles and things like that.
Mailboxes.
I guess they told them to keep driving, because if that ever happened, I would put my flashers on and start slowing down. I mean,
I sure would.
I never had. Did you ever have a hood fly up and block?
I did once, and yes, immediately followed by the brakes.
Yeah, flashers, brakes,
Flashers.
Just keep it
getting
straight.
out of the lane, off to the side.
Yeah. I certainly in a parking lot situation, I would just lift off the throttle, and you wouldn't know what you'd hit cones and that because you couldn't see them.
Right.
But I think it's anything. This is National Distracted Driving Month, and I think anything that can make people aware that if you get distracted for almost 5 seconds, you travel like a football field. of distance, and a lot
Well,
can happen in that time.
at 60 miles an hour, you're doing 90 feet per second. So in 5 seconds, you've driven 1.5 football fields.
That's crazy.
That's scary.
And anything can happen in that distance. So check that video out. We're going to talk about it a little bit on this hour of Cruise Control. But check that video out at our Facebook page. And while you're over there, don't forget to throw us a like. And there's lots of links to automotive content there. I think you will find it interesting. So I'm going to bring us in, Les.
Okay.
Here we go.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on
Cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is none other than Les Jackson. We're glad he's with us. We're all glad that you're with us. Got a full hour of great automotive information. We're going to start this hour with Lexus announcing its Teammate Advanced Drive system. And they're also taking on distracted driving, Les. It is Distracted Driving Month, and they want to raise awareness about that.
It's a crisis around the country, and anything we can do to help.
Yeah.
And Toyota debuts the GR86, and it's no replacement for displacement.
Yeah, remember we were kind of teasing that up.
Oh, yes.
That Toyota and Subaru would be making an announcement. There's a lot of rumors floating around that there might be a BRZ STI, but we don't have anything on that, but we'll keep you up to date on that. Also, Jeep updates the Compass. Competition's a good thing, Les. They have to up their game on that.
That's right. It helps. Look what we can buy. Hey, if you're planning any kind of a trip this summer and renting a car, you better be prepared for sticker shock because prices for rental cars is skyrocketing.
Yeah, they say an economy car may cost you $300 a day. $300 a day. You used to be able to get a week for that.
It used to be like 30 a day.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell you what's going on and why those prices are high, and if you're planning that summer vacation, you might be in for a surprise. And Hummer reveals its crab-walking 830 horsepower EV SUV. And are you ready, Les Jackson, for some tactical tech? Are you ready?
No.
Okay.
I still haven't gotten ready, used to the tactical flashlight and tactical sunglasses.
I believe there's a tactical toothbrush too.
Oh, of course.
It just cuts away the stuff on your teeth. Yeah. Well, we're going to get the information from Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product manager. He's going to join us in a little bit on Cruise Control. So a full hour of great automotive news and information, Les Jackson. And it just doesn't stop. The technological advancements. Also a weird story this week. A guy driving a Ford Mach-E had death threats made against him by Tesla fanboys. That's crazy. I mean, it's always been Ford versus Chevy, but nobody threatened anybody to take anybody out over that. So scary stuff.
Yeah, that's. I don't remember actual violence
but
in the old days.
We'll talk about that and more on Cruise Control when we come back. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. You're on Cruise Control. Taking them out.
Boy.
It's cars, folks. Nobody needs to be hurt. If you don't like that vehicle, just buy another one, right?
What kind of deeply disturbed person does this?
I think it's just a keyboard warrior. In other words, I'm a tough guy because I've got a keyboard and I can type something and I'm not in front of you. if you did it in front of certain people. Imagine telling Goldberg that Mopars are crap. would you tell him it to his face, or would you,
No.
would you, but you could type it out on a keyboard where he couldn't find you. Although Goldberg's a nice guy, he'd probably go like, all right, whatever.
He is a nice guy. We've had him on the show before.
Yeah, but
no, you don't want to antagonize anybody that you don't know.
Hey, the beautiful thing is there are a lot of different vehicles. If you don't like that one, don't worry about someone else driving it.
That's right. It's just like listening to music. If you don't like it, there's a knob that lets you change to a whole variety of other channels.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't get it. But what are you driving this week, Les? What do you got?
Just turned in the Lexus XC 300H
Okay.
hybrid.
Okay.
Nice vehicle.
Have you driven a LS 500?
No, not recently.
I drove one of them over the summer. It is a beautiful car. We're going to tell you about this new teammate system that's going to be available on the all-wheel drive 2022 LS 500H. And it's stepping up autonomous driving to a little bit higher level. Of course, Tesla's gone silent on its full self-driving mode because it wasn't a full self-driving
They certainly
mode.
have.
Yeah, but this one, we'll tell you what it can do when we come back in on Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com and also like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. But all the links are on cruisecontrolradio.com.
And you will enjoy this since you mentioned Tesla. I saw one today, a Model S, and it had a rusty hood.
Wow.
Yeah, first time I've seen that.
I used to see that on vehicles back in the 80s, but hey,
Yeah.
In 5.
you're coming in, Les Jackson.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Les, he's Fred.
Hello.
We got a lot to talk about, Fred, before our guest comes on later, so we should just go ahead and get to it.
Yeah, let's talk about some technology that's going to be coming up on a cool vehicle, the 2022 LS 500H. It's an all-new partial hands-free functions, including advanced drive and advanced park. Let's talk about what does advanced drive mean, and it's designed to detect driving conditions, to plan and execute acceleration, braking, and steering commands to navigate certain interchanges and traffic jams and overtake slower vehicles. I read that directly from the release because
I know, I like the, you know what, this is intelligent cruise control 2.0.
2.0. And lane change is the big
Which
thing.
is great.
Yeah,
because
lane change
one, one thing you and I have talked about in the past is, boy, wouldn't it be great if this thing knew how to overtake a slower vehicle, or wanted to change a lane itself, because it knows I want to maintain a certain speed and I'm, trying to get to somewhere by a certain time. It's just great.
Well, the other thing that's neat is the fact that if you're in a traffic jam, you can take your hands off the wheel and you can take your feet off the pedals.
Yeah.
Because that is very taxing, traffic jams. I know I've been in some traffic jams for over an hour, and it's really bad if you have a manual
You get
transmission.
frustrated constantly creeping, hitting the pedals, creeping forward.
Yeah. So this is going to be available on the 2022 LS 500H. I drove this vehicle over the summer, and it's a really wonderful, large, luxurious sedan. Sedan, Les Jackson. Notice I said sedan.
I I appreciate that.
And it was great, and it was loaded with technology. Now, there's more technology coming up. Advanced Park assists the operations necessary for hands-free, safe, and secure parking by automatically controlling steering, acceleration, braking, and gear changes when parallel parking or backing into a parking space using 360-degree sensing. It also gives you a bird's eye view, which I would not get a vehicle without that bird's eye view.
I wouldn't either. Once you have it, you got to have it.
You know what I wondered? Why don't they put that on tractor trailers?
Well, maybe they do now.
Wouldn't that make it a lot easier to back into a place where you're going to offload?
I would think. I frankly, if I were driving the tractor trailer, I would I would have to have that because you'd imagine the number of maneuvers I'd try before I got the thing in there straight.
Yeah, exactly. Those are two bits of technology that will be coming out on the 2022 Lexus LS500H. Pretty cool. Now, we also want to tell you about this. You can go over to our Facebook page and check out this video. The Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We're in that right now. And Lexus has put up this great video where they take drivers and they tell them, okay, we're just going to try out this car. And they go around cones in a parking lot. And then all of a sudden they flick a switch and the glass goes opaque, I guess what it would be. And you can't see. But they only hold that up for 4.6 seconds. Matter of fact, they tell them the new vehicle is called the 4.6. They put a nameplate on. And the idea is that's how long it takes you to read and send a reply to a text. In that time frame, you can go the distance greater than a football field, right?
Absolutely. You shouldn't be texting in a car while you're moving under any circumstance. But since people do, and by the way, Fred, do you drive any day you're driving, do you somehow not see somebody who's distracted?
I see them all the time, man. I notice them right away. I think I would make a pretty good cop because I could see them right away, and I would light them up and say, "What are you doing with the phone?" You know, what drives me crazy is when I see the vehicle moving and they're not looking. So we'll talk a little bit more about distracted driving when we come back on Cruise Control. You're on it. Automotive Magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We will be right back. Hey, welcome back to our audience online, YouTube, and Facebook Live. We appreciate you being with us. Don't forget, if you have a question or a car you like us to review, a SUV you like us to review, let us know. Drop us a comment on either YouTube or Facebook, and we appreciate you being along for the ride, don't we, Les?
Always. It's fun having people on Facebook during the show.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if they're looking at us, how could they not be amused?
Okay.
Looking at us guys.
Well, we've got some cool stuff coming up. They might want to look at this a little bit more. The Subaru GR86 and Subaru BRZ. The 86, the GR86 came out this week. Gazoo Racing. Now, you and I, there's always like a cultural difference, but Gazoo was a character on the Fred Flintstone show. It was sort of a jumping the shark character on Fred Flintstone, where they had like this little guy from outer space come in, and he had a little crash helmet on, and he would talk to them, right? And only they could see him. I don't know why it's called Gazoo Racing, but apparently that means something different to Toyota. But anyway, this gets a 2.4-liter boxer engine, more displacement, more horsepower. I think the 86 is great. I would like to take one of these things out on an autocross circuit. Wouldn't that be fun?
It would. These things have just been a great bargain. It's not a high performance car, but it's certainly a performance car. And they drive really well. I still don't understand why they haven't been more popular.
I don't know either. I think it's a great vehicle that would make a great first performance car. I'm sure you can probably turbo that engine. I'm sure you can probably hop it up, don't you think?
Oh, sure. It's basically Subaru, and they do all sorts of things with those. Well, look at the W.
Here we go. I'll bring us in.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control Radio. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We're glad you're along for the ride. Don't forget to check us out at our Facebook page, cruisecontrolradio.com. Actually, I'll get you to our Facebook page and our Twitter feed. It's all there. We were talking about Distractive Driving Awareness Month. If you head on over to our Facebook page, we got a great video up from the folks at Lexus. And we were telling you how they told people we're going to test this car out. And it's called the 4.6. And they would be driving on the course, and all of a sudden they would make the windows go opaque for 4.6 seconds. And they would start running into things. And the idea, Les, yes, the idea is to show what can happen in 4.6 seconds if you're sending a text, right?
Absolutely. And of course, that's the minimum time it takes to send a text.
Yeah, exactly. And it's normally something stupid like, your auto warranty is about to expire.
Yeah.
on your 25-year-old car. It's something stupid, or a stupid little animated smiley face or something. And guess what? Now you've gone across the lane, flipped over, hit somebody else. It's really important. And you were saying that, do I see people driving and texting all the time? I do. I see them looking at their phone, and the car is moving forward, and they're just bent down looking at their phone, and the car's moving forward into traffic, which usually elicits a giant horn burst for me.
And at every stoplight, there's somebody who doesn't go when the light changes, and you can look, and 100% of the time they're looking down at their hand, and they're clearly texting.
Yep. Or have you ever experienced this on the highway? Someone starts slowing down. They were doing 65, now we're doing 55, now we're doing 40. And guess what they're doing? They're looking at their phone. Slower, slower, slower. And they're right in the middle lane. And the lights would come on if I was a cop and say, is there a problem with your car, or is there a problem with your phone? Yeah.
We'll just take that phone from you
and smash it into the ground.
You can pick it up in court.
Yeah. It is, though. I'm really glad Lexus is bringing this out because it is something. It is a very selfish activity, because you are basically putting everyone else at risk because you want to answer text. Don't use it. Don't do it. It's just not worth it. It's a stupid thing to do. And you're gonna hurt somebody else, if not yourself, but you could hurt somebody else. So, hey, let's move it along and talk about a big debut this week: Toyota Gazoo Racing. The world debut of the new GR86 is quite a nice looking vehicle, and the nice thing about it, Les, is it's got more horsepower thanks to a 2.4-liter boxer engine up from the 2-liter engine of the past. Not bad.
Not bad at all. It was nothing wrong with it in the past, and now it's just a I'd call it a sprint car, I guess.
Yeah, it has a lot of other new features here. They use aluminum for the roof panels to get a lower center of gravity. There's more rigidity in the body. It's been the torsional rigidity has been enhanced by about 50% over the previous model for greater steering stability. It is a good-looking vehicle. Even the interior looks nice on that. Of course, you can get the BRZ, which is the Subaru version of this. I'm gonna go out on a limb. You know what this reminds me of, sort of? It is like a mini Corvette. Not the mid-engine Corvette, but it's like a mini C7 Corvette, just like the Opel GT was like a mini C3 Corvette.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see that.
Rear drive. It's got the low scooping nose. It's got the high back, two-door vehicle. I think it's a cool vehicle. I drove one a number of years ago. It's time to get back into it because I think it's a lot of fun. A lot of people are using the older versions of these for autocrossing, which it's perfect for that. I just think it's a fun little car, and this is going to just take it to the next level.
To me, when I look at them, it reminds me of the Porsche 928.
Okay, I would say so. I think that's a good way to put it. Interior nice, good stuff from the folks.
Yeah, and the bargain price.
Yeah, bargain price. Here's something though that doesn't come at a bargain price, and that is rental cars.
Ooh,
Remember when Hertz went bankrupt and they sold off like 250,000 cars at one shot? Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, rental cars could cost you a lot more. Increases of over 300% are being reported. This is according to the Points guy, which is the guy that talks about travel and how to get a good deal. Apparently, you can't get one. And rental rates are soaring in Arizona, Hawaii, Florida. They're charging as much as $300 a day for economy-sized cars. The problem is supply is being outweighed by demand because of Hertz and their bankruptcy.
Right, and other companies have sold off some of their fleets during the pandemic.
Yeah, and they can't find rental cars, and I tell you, that is pretty intense. That would be a bad surprise, wouldn't it?
It would be a bad surprise where they just tell you, look, if you want a car,
$300 a day
in Honolulu, it's going to cost you $350 a day, and we can't guarantee what the car is going to be.
Does Rent-A-Wreck still exist? Remember Rent-A-Wreck?
I've been meaning to look that up just to see if they still are.
Well, you know what you could do, too? There's Turo, I think it is called, where people rent you their car.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
I would never do it either.
I might rent someone else's car if I could get it for less than $300 a day, though, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
But I would never. I mean, I think the use for that service is if you're looking to buy, let's say, a Tesla, and you don't want to buy you don't want to go to the dealer and do a test drive. You could rent it, and that might be a good thing. But yeah, that's a surprise. If you're planning a vacation, you might be in for a untimely surprise or a timely surprise, I guess.
It'll be disappointing.
$1,500 a month, $1,500 a week for a basic car.
You could almost buy a car and then turn it in.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when we come back, we are going to talk about another vehicle that was released this week, and that is none other than, as I like to refer to it, the crab-walking 830 horsepower EV SUV. It's the Hummer EV. Hummer EV product manager. It's the EV SUV is what we're talking about. And we're going to have on Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product manager. And he is going to talk about this vehicle. That's a lot to talk about, a lot of capability, a lot of technology. He'll be coming up after the break. And I'm excited to talk about it. The cool thing is, Les, it is shorter than the pickup truck version, so that makes it even better off-road. We'll talk about that. Crab walking, where the vehicle can almost move sideways. I always thought that would be something that I would like in a vehicle.
Yep.
And
I've always thought so too.
Yeah, it's got crab walking capability. It's got four-wheel steering, and it is quite the vehicle. And definitely, you know, if you went back in time, you would definitely notice this to be a Hummer. It really has that look. So Tom will join us after the break. Stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staub and Les Jackson. We will be right back, so stay tuned. All right, let's let him in.
Let me in, will you?
Waiting room.
And you have a funny text, Fred.
What's the text?
You'll see.
Okay. Let's see if he's coming in. Tom, you there?
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Big news this week from the folks at Hummer. It is exciting. The Hummer SUV, EV SUV. We wanted to know more about this amazing vehicle, amazing and capable vehicle, Les Jackson. So we have Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product manager, with us. Tom, welcome to Cruise Control. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Fred. I appreciate it. Hi, Les.
How are you? And are you, in fact, driving a Hummer right now?
I wish I was. I don't know what kind of background you're seeing. It looks like a really cheesy home office to me.
Well, I don't mean right at this moment, but
he means have you driven one of the new EV Hummers?
Yeah, I've driven the pickup. So I've spent some time in the pickup. The news of this past week is that we've introduced the SUV, which is showing on video right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a machine, and it definitely has that that historic Hummer look.
Yeah, you're not going to mistake it for something.
You know what it is.
Yeah, something else.
Yeah, I mean the first go around at Hummer was definitely a unique vehicle and capable vehicle, and then now we've as part of the GMC brand and as the Hummer EV model, we've made just a breathtaking, if not, I'll argue even more breathtaking vehicle than anything from the past.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit, Tom. I mean, first of all, there is a Hummer EV pickup, and now there is the SUV. And the SUV is even better off-road because it's got a little bit shorter wheelbase, right?
Yeah, we're about 9 inches shorter wheelbase, and that improves our breakover angle. And also with the SUV, it's got a shorter rear overhang as well. So our departure angles improved significantly too.
Wow. And Les, I mean, EVs for off-roading has got to be a great thing with instant torque. Basically, it's like an on-off switch for your vehicle.
And also, Tom, I would imagine that with the electric power, your ability to crawl over things has to be dramatically better than any other previous type of drivetrain.
Yeah, I mean, we're very pleased with it. Our test engineers they've been conducting miles and hours of test time of the vehicle now off-road. And we've got great opportunities. We talk about the torque, the instant torque, the ability to creep at low speeds. You don't need any reduced gears. We've got a one pedal off-road driving mode as well. So when you're descending, you can also keep the vehicle in check with that then too. So it's really it's a fantastic off-road capable vehicle, and the electric part is just a bonus on top of it. And there's many good features of that though too.
Yeah, well, let's talk about some of those good features. And if anyone's saying, "Oh, I'm really upset the internal combustion engine is going away and they're bringing out all these electrics," let me hit you with a couple of numbers. There's a 3-motor version of this vehicle. It can deliver up to 830 horsepower.
Yep.
11,500 pound-feet of torque, and that nets you 3.5 seconds 0 to 60 time. I would be happy with those numbers, Tom.
Well, we're happy as well, and you should see the smiles on the faces of our engineers that are driving the vehicles now. So it's an incredibly fast vehicle with the 3-motor setup. That's what we're going to launch with. Our Edition 1 will have the 3-motor configuration, and very similar to the pickup with the 3 motors too. So we got torque vectoring, all-wheel drive, our E4-wheel drive as part of that then too. And it screams on road with that 0 to 60 time, and then off road as well. That it's power to the pavement or to the trails. It's really fantastic.
What is the total suspension travel on that? I mean, I'm looking at the distance between the inner fender and the wheels in the video, and it just looks like you could almost drive over, a 24-inch log with this thing
well,
at speed.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, we've got 13 inches suspension travel, and we got some unique settings for the vehicle as well. So there's a standard mode that the vehicle drives in, then we offer a terrain mode, which takes up 2 inches, and that's for your conventional off-roading. And then when you get into any precarious position where you might have a rock to crawl over, or get yourself out of a jam where you bottom the vehicle out, or you're stuck in some mud, we can get into the extract mode, which raises it an additional 4 inches for low speed driving. So it's 6 inches height, even over and above where we're at with the standard curb height for the vehicle.
Yeah, the technology here is amazing, and we should click off some of these tactical tech, as you like to call it. I like that.
Yep.
I like that branding. But you have a satellite rendered trail mapping. So let's talk a little bit about that. That's not. I mean, that is a bigger advance than little pie plate locators on a trail that you might get.
Sure. Well, and it'll be more than just dropping breadcrumbs along your way as well. And we're gonna be offering more information about that to come, but it's something that we're really excited about. What'll be offered in the SUV and the pickup and it'll be a chance to truly go off road and through the trails with as we come up. We're partnering with a third party, and we're gonna have more information on that to come. But it'll truly make an off-road experience more enjoyable and ease your mind when you're trying to find your way in or out.
That's amazing. What I'm just curious about how you manage. What I didn't look at the weight of the vehicle. I mean, it looks huge, and it must weigh about 6,000 pounds.
Well, we haven't released information about the weight of the vehicle yet, but needless to say, there's a lot of batteries on the vehicle as an electric vehicle with up to 300-mile range or 300+ mile range. So it's about the size. To put it in some conventional terms, it's the size of a GMC Sierra pickup, and then we pick up some width with the vehicle too for suspension travel and articulation of the suspension. And so it's really comparably sized to a crew cab pickup with the additional width for suspension travel.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty familiar size. I mean, it's
well, yeah. The important thing too about it, Les, is though it's a large vehicle, but it's having driven it myself, I can say with the four-wheel steer, and I think we saw a little video on the crab walk. By having four-wheel steer for the vehicle, this SUV it gets its turn circle down to 35.4 feet, which is smaller than many conventional mid-sized cars or SUVs.
Oh, yeah.
So I can say driving this vehicle, it's a good-sized truck, but it drives very small and very nimble, and that'll be great for off-roading as well as for people who may drive it every day to the stores or dropping the kids off or whatever. It's very small feeling and very nimble feeling that we've accomplished for the vehicle.
And that's important because people don't want to feel like something is just, oh my gosh, this isn't maneuverable enough.
Yeah.
35 feet is a very small turning radius. I mean, that's mid-size sedan territory.
We are talking with Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product guy. And Tom, let's talk a little bit more about some of those things you mentioned in greater detail. Crab walking. This is something I always thought it would be cool, especially in New York City, if you could slide right into a parking spot, even though I think I'm a pretty good parallel parker. But this is a first for any vehicle that I can think of. And then also you have four-wheel steering, which GM showed off, I remember, a number of years ago on their pickup, but now it's integrated into this vehicle as well.
Right, and it's the four-wheel steer that enables the crab walk, and the four-wheel steer on its own, and that's the part that makes the vehicle more nimble and tighter turn circle. And by having the four-wheel steer, it enables the crab walk, which allows the rear wheels to turn the same as the front wheels to offer diagonal driving of the vehicle at lower speeds. So that, whether you're off trail facing a rock in front of you and you may have a wall on one side of you and you need to get around it and you don't want to do multiple point turns to get past an obstacle, you can do that by driving the vehicle diagonally. And that 10 degrees doesn't sound like a lot, but when you actually see it in motion and feel it, you're actually, you're facing forward and the vehicle is moving diagonally. It's really it's a great and functional experience. And you mentioned driving in the city too. There could be a use for that as well, whether it's in a large city or otherwise. So it's really fun.
I just picture getting into tight parking spaces, and they'll say he'll never be able to get in there, and then you throw it into the crab walk mode, and they're like, "Oh my!" Hey, we will be right back with more from Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product manager. And stay tuned to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He's Les Jackson. We will be right back. More on the Hummer EV SUV.
I like that greenish color. What's that? What's the name of that?
Yeah, that's our Moonshot green matte. It's a matte finish paint also. That's for our edition 1. That's for our launch vehicle or launch edition for the
That's a
SUV.
handsome. It's just a nice. It's a comfortable feeling color.
It
Yeah.
is, but the only thing I'm worried about, Tom, is having driven some matte finish cars. They're hard to get a scratch out of, aren't they?
Well, matte paints do require a little bit more attention to, and care, but we'll be employing the latest and greatest technologies with our with our coating. So it's hopefully you won't get the vehicle scratched, but it's it's something that I'm sure that whether it's a repair shop or we'll have means to fix it though too. But we wouldn't introduce a paint color. We're General Motors, we're GMC. We're not going to put some shoddy paint job out there either. So
it looks great. It actually has a lot of military feel to it, which is cool, and it works into that tactical type topic that we're talking about. So that's great. I just think that there's just so much going on with this vehicle, and also. I don't think the video is at the point of the interior, but there seems like there's a lot of Easter eggs inside the interior. The mat for the storage area looks like it's a map.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've put some, to reveal every Easter egg wouldn't be the greatest thing, but
take away the
at
fun.
least I'll tell you about the mat though, and we as our designers took this vehicle on, as we went from concept to production coming up this fall for the pickup in just over 2 years, it was something that they viewed as a moonshot of some sort. That explains sort of the moonshot green metallic naming.
Love that.
And
name.
then on the door speaker and in the mat for the console under storage, that's the Sea of Tranquility topography.
Oh wow!
So it's whether for the earlier version of Hummer 1.0. we took on the earth, and we're at least acknowledging now that we've got a world beater with our off-road capable vehicle here too.
Wow, very, very
That's cool.
Very cool. Well, when we come back on our live radio show, we'll talk a little bit about how you can use it to power things, which I think is really cool, the power station generator, and just more about the technical stuff inside this vehicle. What does a big diesel have these days, like a big tractor trailer Class 8 diesel have for torque numbers? I mean, you're talking torque well beyond those big Class 8 trucks.
Well, these torque numbers are to the wheels, so it's a little different than an internal combustion where you have one power source. So we've got different, 3 different motors, and with those 3, there's different reduction, and so it's easier to describe torque as the combined number to the pavement rather than, and this is a little bit beyond my skill set, but it's easier to describe it this way than to describe torque of individual motors.
Wow. Very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just say, Les, it's powerful.
I'm anxious to drive this.
Yeah, I think I have a tree that needs to be moved, so I'll just.
Well, I just have some people I want to impress.
All right, I'm gonna impress our audience and bring us back in. How's that? Stand by. In 5.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Les and I are here talking about an incredible vehicle from the folks at Hummer. GMC Hummer would be accurate. You will not, when you see this vehicle, you'll say, yes, that is a Hummer. This is the SUV version, all electric, incredibly loaded with lots of technology. And we are talking with Tom Namovich, who is the Hummer EV product manager, about this vehicle. There's so much to talk to. We covered a lot, Tom, but on the inside, this thing is loaded with technology as well and loaded with luxury, but it still has a very tactical look, a very military look. It hasn't gone soft on the inside, has it?
No, it hasn't. And I don't know if those were the words our designers might use, but we've got a premium interior. We've got a 12.3-inch screen for the cluster, a 13.4-inch center infotainment HD screen. And yeah, it just speaks to what the vehicle is inside and out. There's cues to what the Hummer EV is on the inside that match the outside, and we've got a very premium interior with the colors we're showing here. This is our lunar shadow interior that debuts with the SUV, and we also have a higher contrast interior with the lunar horizon, which is a light gray accent where we see the taupe colored here. So it's a great premium feel interior that complements the exterior of the vehicle, and it's a great feel. And seeing the image right now, the infinity roof sky panels are removed, and that further really improves or gives the feel of the outside world coming in. And you can see it's like a convertible. It is with the roof panels removed and the infinity bar removed in the front, the I bar, then it's a convertible while you're driving the vehicle too. So it's really an exciting feel when you're navigating the roads or the trails.
Very open air. Is that screen adjustable? It looks like it will fold back and forth a little bit.
The center screen is fixed.
It's fixed. Okay, because it looked like it might be adjustable. I don't know why you'd adjust it, but
well, let's talk about more of the technology here. You also basically have a power station on board, Tom. I mean, of course, you've got a lot of batteries, and why not be able to power things when you're out on the trail? It makes good sense, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah, for sure. So with our power station that will debut with the SUV, we can tap 3 kilowatts, 120 volt power out of the vehicle. So we can power a campsite, a small work site, power certain devices in your home if you lose power. And then another great feature for this power station is we can take 6 kilowatts of 240 volt out to power another electric vehicle, to charge another electric vehicle or an electric toy, as we're going to start seeing more, whether they're side-by-sides or electric motorcycles or otherwise, we can tap power for that also.
Do you have towing capability out yet on this vehicle?
We haven't released the information yet. We're working through the final details as our engineers are taking the analytical world and then actually applying that to real tests. And we'll be releasing towing information later.
Yeah, super vehicle. I like how they've used a lot of the Apollo program basically, and they're talking about moonshots and things like that, and the lunar name for interiors. I think that's pretty cool.
I just like the way it's been executed. It appears it's got the family resemblance, but as you said, it's an all new technology, all new everything vehicle that stands on its own. I just did a quick calculation on the available electric power that you can pull off of it. I could run simultaneously my central air conditioning, my refrigerator, and my TV off of that. So I'm sold.
There you got it. You got an order, Tom.
That's it.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And also, let's talk about charging. 800-volt DC public fast charging capability, up to 300 kilowatts. What?
Yeah, that's something where, I mean, for a vehicle to be truly accepted and used as an electric vehicle, you got to be able to charge it quick too. So with this 300 kilowatt charging, it'll make it much easier. And we come out and we've stated that at least for the pickup, we can get about 100 miles in 10 minutes or about 10 minutes.
Wow.
And we expect similar performance for the SUV, and it'll make the vehicle very usable and in everyday life. And that's what we need. What we really need to have as we transition to electric vehicles.
Well, what is the range on it? We should ask about that. I mean, you can get 100 miles in 10 minutes. Did you say 15 minutes?
About 100 miles in 10 minutes for the pickup, and around the same for the SUV.
What's the overall
and
range?
So And so the range for the SUV is 300 plus miles, and then for the Edition 1 with the off-road package, it's 280, a little bit more than that. Those are early estimates too, and we'll see the final numbers come when we get closer to production.
Wow. You know what I'd like? I'd like to see, Tom, somebody take one of these, obvious too early in the game, and turn it into an overlander with some kind of camper body on it somehow, you know, maybe to fit in the pickup model. Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, you know, we're going to offer over 200 accessories for the launch, and we haven't released all the information on our accessories yet, but we're working through that now as well, and there'll be plenty of surprises for our accessories. And yeah, one thing you're saying too, as an overland vehicle, and to make this vehicle usable by everybody, we're going to have a whole host of accessories for the truck and for the SUV.
I think that's great. I mean, obviously the aftermarket would be making accessories right now if they knew you weren't making accessories. But I always like it when the factory engineers design an accessory to not only fit and work correctly, but to warrant the device, which is really important.
Yeah, you guys.
Well, and we with our fast development time for this vehicle, we really challenge our accessory team to have a whole host of accessories ready when we start production. But we're gonna have some great and exciting accessories for the vehicles too, for sure.
Tom, are people putting down deposits already on these?
Yeah, we took pre-orders, or we're taking pre-orders now for both body styles, and the pickup, we took pre-orders in October, and we sold out our Edition 1 for the pickup, and then this past weekend we started the pre-orders for the SUV, and we sold out the Edition 1 for that vehicle as well. And we do offer a similar highly equipped trim that's still available for pre-order for the SUV and for the pickup. And then we're also offering pre-orders for the Hummer EV2 and the Hummer EV2X for the standard and the mid trim for the vehicles also.
Would there ever be a fleet version of this, a real basic version for people that just need to go and check high power transmission lines into the woods or something like that? It obviously this is a high-end vehicle right now with a lot of technology, but I wonder if that would ever be in a consideration.
Well, we're focusing on, for the Edition 1, it's a very well-equipped vehicle, and we got the other trims to follow. And as a company, General Motors announced that we're going to have an electric Silverado coming up too.
Right.
So we've got a couple different opportunities for our company and for GMC brand to meet the needs of our customers. We do have a very, very capable vehicle here, and it will be used for regular people as well as for fleet customers here. And we're gonna focus on satisfying true off-road aficionados and premium EV truck buyers at the launch.
Tom, real quick, where should people go for information on these vehicles?
Go to gmc.com, and it'll be right on the top of the page for the Hummer EV.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Tom Namovich, the Hummer EV product manager. Can't wait to get into these vehicles.
Impressive.
Looking forward to getting you in them. Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Les.
All right. Good deal.
Thank you.